Okay, so now we're looking at the back of the rack. Okay, the bottom two things right here are rack drives. What they are is they tune the room, and they never need to be touched. They're going to have a grill on them, but as of right now, is if you look right here, and you see, let me put this light down. These lights right here, these are muted. That's because there's nothing going on here. So if you're not getting any sound for some reason, so someone might have stuck something in the grill or whatever and muted these. This right here is the rack drive for the front of the stage. That means these speakers are muted now. You need to unmute this one and this one. There's nothing in there. You can tell there's something plugged into the back of this from here. So you have bass bins, mids and highs. And if these are on, that means those speakers are muted. Those need to be unmuted. These are for the back of the room by the bar. If this is on, that means those speakers are muted. So this needs to be unmuted. And you have the subwoofer, which is behind the curtain, and the highs, which are above your heads. Other than that, none of this stuff needs to be touched ever. The room has been tuned. I'm going to retune it before I put the rack drive back on it together, and it never ever needs to be touched. They just need to make sure that when it does have a grill on it, that these red lights on the four corners are never on. They always need to be off, otherwise you will not have any sound coming out. On the very back of the X32 mixer, you have your mic inputs right here. This is your mic inputs. And then you have, and this right here, you can see down here is on 15 and 16. Those are the two wireless mics that are hooked up. I'm going to get some more short cables and we'll hook up 13 and 14, and that way you have all your four wireless mics hooked up. But as of right now, you only have 16 channels, and the 16 channels are you can have more with the X32, but you have to come out basically out of the utilities into their box. But that's nothing you know about. So you have 16 mic inputs. Those are 16 mic inputs. These are two wireless inputs. So you have a USB. And the USB, what the USB for is, this thing's also a sound card. So say if you had a band or someone who wanted to come in and track all of the tracks individually, like say do another DAW, like a Pro Tools DAW for a live show, because like on the previous video I showed you that you could record your USB. Well, this actually is, this USB right here would plug into your computer, and then you could actually run 30 the 16 channels in simultaneously separately into a DAW like Pro Tools. So that's how you do that. You don't need something other unit. You just need someone with a laptop with like Pro Tools or Ableton or some kind of recording DAW. They can plug into there, call this up as a sound card, and then you can track the whole show and then mix it at a later time. That's what this USB is for. And then right here you have your bus outputs. Okay, so this is, right now you have 8 bus outputs. The first 4 right here are being used for front of house, which is the mains for the stage. By the front of the stage, this is going into this rack drive, and actually this rack drive and this rack drive is splitting the signal up and crossing it over and taking it back to the other, and taking it back to there. This bus output 5 and 6 is going for the, so loud. Bus 5 and 6 is going for the back of the house, and it's routed, so you only have to move up the main speaker. So this is back of the house. So these never be unplugged. These will always stay here. Never, ever, ever take these out. These are, you only, now this rack only lets you have 4 outputs. What do we use the outputs for? These are for monitors. So basically you have monitor 1, monitor 2, monitor 3, and monitor 4. Okay, so you'll come out of this into one monitor, out of this into another monitor, out of this into another monitor, out of this into another monitor. That's if you want to run. You can have basically 4 separate monitor mixes if you do it that way. If you only want one monitor mix, you only need to come out of output 1 into one monitor, come out of that monitor into the next monitor, out of that monitor into the next monitor, out of that, and so on. And then you only have one monitor mix. If you want to have 2 monitor mixes, say you could bring monitor 1 out, take it to the monitor by the drums. So the drummer has his own monitor. Then you can bring monitor 2 out, go into like the front EVs, and then come out of that front EV into the other monitor. So that way you have a drum mix, and then you have the two monitors that are in front have the same mix, so it's a little less work for the sound guy, because you only have one monitor mix for the front of the stage and one monitor mix for the drums. That's usually how I do it when bands are here, because it's just easier to have a monitor mix for the drums, and then the two EVs to have the same, because they're probably going to have the same EQ anyhow. But if you want to split them up, you can have drum monitor mix. You could have one of the EVs coming out of there on the right side of the stage, another EV coming out of there on the left side of the stage, and then you can have another keyboard monitor here and plug into some other kind of monitor. And then, but remember, when you're in your sends, you have to mix each monitor mix separately. So, you have to make sure that vocals are coming out of, for the drummer, and the vocals are coming out for the keyboard player, and vocals are coming out for the guitar player. And that is where you do that at. And then you have your aux ins, which you really don't, this is for if you want to bring other effects in, aux in and outs. You can also use your aux ins. You have aux ins on the board. So like say if you have a DJ, you could actually plug, the DJ, instead of using up these channels, you could run a DJ into aux in 1 and aux in 2. And then on the board, I'll show you how to mix that. So when we go back to that, so DJ, aux in, I'll show you that whole routing scenario. Now you have your aux in 1, 2, 3, and 4 as well. On the back of the mixer, when I was showing you the back panel of the mixer, where I was saying how you could hook a DJ up into that. So okay, so you have aux in 1, 2, 3, and 4 still open. You can actually take 2 1/4 inches, plug them into the back here, and then control that volume from here. So it works great for DJs. So instead of cluttering up channels on 1 through 8 or 9 through 16, you can take a DJ and plug them in here, and you can use up, put stereo 1 and 2 there, or stereo 1 and 2 there. Now over here you have a talkback mic. If for some reason you want to record a band like a studio, that's what the talkback mic would be used for. But anyhow, once again, it's a quick overview. These are your mic inputs, and these are your 4 monitor outputs. So these 4, never ever 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 touch. Leave them here. This is front of the house. Never touch those ever. So you can have up to 4 monitor mixes. Those would be there. Your mic inputs are here, and your aux inputs are here. So if I DJ or whatever, you plug into there, and that is it. Okay.